Welcome to Something Like That with NAV. Yes, this has to be one of the most embarrassing session of my life among after so many podcast episodes. Finally, when it comes to this particular band that I have been waiting for a very, very, very long time. And what happens? Murphy's Law kicks in with the messing up my camera, but finally got things sorted out. So if you find the angle, whatever looks a little weird than the usual, please do forgive me. But anyway, let's get into our guest for today. And for this particular episode, the last I had a chat with them was a very, very, very long time. And finally, I get a chance to chat with them again after, I don't know, maybe more than 10 years or so. And these guys have been rocking it for a very long time, since 2009. And I promise myself that I will not ask this one particular question, which is why the name KYOTO Protocol. So I'm not going to do that. So let me bring in Fuad into the show right now. Hey, Fuad, my man. I told you, I'm not going to ask, man. I'm not going to ask you.
I love the disclaimer, and clearly you can proudly state that because you actually know what the KYOTO Protocol is, unlike people.
Exactly. Because you guys had two choices, right, between the other name and this one. So, but I say this is the best choice you made, man. I kind of remember this name more than the actual accord itself.
That's fantastic. In some sense, that's a bit sad, but I guess on to better things for the environment side because they moved on to Paris Agreement, etc., etc.
Yeah.
But if the name's there to claim, we're happy to take it.
It's nice, man. It's nice. I kind of like the name because, like I said earlier, I don't know whether you recall, and I couldn't really recall the conversation we had because this was way back in 2009 or maybe 2011, and that was a very long time ago. So the first thing that I saw when I had the CD on my table was KYOTO Protocol. No, that's a funky name, which I liked it. I loved it. And that was, if I'm not mistaken, for the EP and album.
Wow, yes. That's an amazingly long time ago.
Yes, hey, dude, that was one of the best EPs I've heard, man. Especially the track, what's the name of the track? Mosquito. Then you had Big Machine. That was one heck of an album or EP, man. I loved it till this very day. Man. I loved it very much. But I'm also curious, you guys have changed all those years. Your sounds have evolved very much. So, if I would want to describe your sound right now, because at the very start, it was a hard rocking band. KYOTO Protocol was a very hard rocking band. It had a little blues elements in it, bits and pieces of it, and all of a sudden it changed a bit to punk rock and then a bit of pop. So, how would I describe KYOTO Protocol itself?
Well, yeah, honestly, I have a really hard time doing that. It's kind of like that Bohemian Rhapsody.
Okay.
Where Freddie Mercury sang Anywhere the Wind Blows, right?
Nice. Very nice. Good point.
And for us, I think the wind kind of blew us into that direction. We've always been, well, maybe I'll talk from a personal point of view, that I've been an avid studier of rock, if that's the right word to say, and I would say that everything that we do is still rock and roll. It's just the different facets of it, right? And I love talking about how rock and roll has actually evolved so much over the years.
True.
From the early days, people say the earliest rock and roll artists were actually people like Buddy Guy and all those kinds of things, right? The blues musicians of the 50s and maybe even pre-50s. That was kind of the precursor for Elvis.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's so interesting because there's an Elvis movie that's out today. Recently. I'm not sure exactly when the premiere is. I haven't watched the movie in a really long time. But I was alerted to it, ironically, by a local rock band. Blister just did a cover of one of the Elvis tracks, and that alerted me to the fact that there's an Elvis movie, and at the same time Blister did one hell of a job. So
I'm surprised.
Shout out to them.
I just saw the single on the Facebook page. I had a chat with Julio about 2 weeks ago. He didn't tell me anything about it. He said we're working on something, and all of a sudden I see, whoop, the track is out on the social media.
But yeah, just to go back to what I was saying about that evolution of rock and roll. So I think we are having a lot of fun, and it's also, I would say, a semi-intellectual exercise in exploring the different paths of rock and roll and experimenting it for ourselves. I think what you heard in an album was our industrial phase, influenced a lot by bands like Queens of the Stone Age, and particularly in the Era Vulgaris album, where there was a lot of electronic influence. So that's why you hear those sounds of like a synth that sounds like a
Yeah.
mosquito, or even in Pussycat, all those kind of things. It was quite, I wouldn't say it was synth heavy, but the synth was there to add this atmosphere of mysteriousness or darkness to the overall sound.
Okay.
Yeah, and then later on, I think we've always experimented with the different paths of rock and roll, right? I think even at some point, rock and roll became almost synonymous with disco. I would say there are a lot of bands that kind of
Yeah.
combine the two
There was a bit of
elements.
funk when they mixed a bit of funk in it. That's how the whole thing changed a little bit.
Exactly. So we also have a lot of fun experimenting with that. Example of our song Julita, which is actually our biggest hit. If I were to just look at metrics,
Okay.
say like YouTube plays and that kind of thing, Julita is by far the number one song
This was
in
from
our
the album
catalog.
Pahlawan, is it?
Yes,
Yeah.
it
Okay.
was on the album Pahlawan.
Okay.
And then we also kind of liked that whole Elvis the bippity bop kind of ding 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 ding. So that's why Kill I Love You and that
Okay.
kind of
Okay.
thing. And I would say that if that maybe takes us kind of full circle to the current single that we
Okay.
have out, The Best I Ever Had, where I think we're having fun re-exploring that again, but in a format that, like you said, is very pop centric, where it takes out a lot of maybe the noodling or the youthful inefficiencies in writing a song, where we went one whole round and went cut it back down into a bit where it's like almost like a James Brown. We actually use that as an intro, the bridge bit during the song. We use that as a moment to introduce the members of the band in a live setting.
Ah. Okay. 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 Okay.
So when it breaks down, what you don't hear on record is a lot more plain, right? You just hear ding ding ding
Yeah.
ding ding ding, and that's when in a live show we'd actually go, okay, we'd like to take this moment to introduce the band, and then on the bass, it starts to
Oh.
shake like ding ding ding
Okay. Okay.
ding
Okay. I got
ding.
to check the bad live shows out, man.
Yeah, actually, I've got a great link to send you. Speaking of that, uh, we were very fortunate. We had this grand project in mind that we wanted to shoot a live show. That means we were playing everything live through the
Okay.
board, and we get good sound from the board and put that on record, as well as of course have good video to accompany it. And we expanded it a little bit further, and we kind of made that into a documentary.
Oh,
Yeah.
please do share the
It
link.
Yes, and that was called 10. It was to commemorate our 10th anniversary.
I think I watched it. Yes, I think I watched the entire thing.
Right.
Yes.
I can't remember if during KL I Love You we managed to do that bit or not. I
Okay.
struggle to recall, but at least that's the best reference for what a KYOTO Protocol live show looks like. And imagine we recorded that in 2019, and then bam, pandemic hits, and
Oh,
then we have nothing else to do except work on the
I could imagine
documentary.
just when you thought that you want to get back into the business and then it takes a break again. But it is not as easy as it sounds like. From the very first you started off, age factor was different, and now you guys have your own jobs, and it's not like a normal job. You're an economist, and it's totally different. So how do you make time for the band itself? Because it's not going to be easy. It's like if you're talking about being young and college and stuff like that, you can get all the band members into the room jamming, producing stuff. But once you start have this working life, especially different career paths, how do you manage to do that for KYOTO Protocol?
Well, can't lie to you, it's been really tough. Especially, you know what's funny? I feel like it's tougher now post pandemic. I think maybe it was just a very convenient marker that marks, I suppose, us being youths, and then now more into a phase where a lot of us are getting kind of like managerial roles and stuff like that. So we're a lot more responsible when it comes to being at work. But also then for the band, we have more expectations and stuff like that
Okay.
of where we want this to go. So for us also, we're trying to push it in a direction that we hope will enable us to be asked for live shows and and festivals and that kind of thing again.
Okay.
So we're still trying to find our balance, I believe. I don't think after 14 years there's no magic
Yeah.
formula to it. Is the fact that we all love music and we still have that hunger to be creative and to be producing something that we can say like, oh, we're very proud of this, and we want people to hear it. We want people to continue loving the music, and for that to be the soundtrack of our fans' lives. That's really the goal that
I gotta
keeps
take-
driving us forward. Yeah.
I got to take this opportunity to thank you and your band for keep on producing music. I mean, coming up with more music, because that's one thing I love of a band. If you follow them from the very start, you just want to keep listening to them over and over again. Not that they come to the point that, hey, we retired, we're too busy. At least one track a year, it would be fine with this, man. But of course, it's not an easy task because, of course, the pandemic was one thing. Prior to that, you had shows, you had gigs and going on. But after the gap, coming back, going on stage, is it easy for you guys?
I really can't say that it was easy. One of the very fundamental bits is that I've put on quite a bit of weight, the
Okay.
MCO weight. So I think roughly about 10% of my body weight has gone up, and not in
Oh.
a good way. So
Tell me about it, man. You 10%? I'll make that about 60% for me, man.
but yeah, simple things like running out of breath during the first song and that kind of thing.
Ooh.
I mean, it used to happen before anyway, but that was it happened before for a different reason. It's because we got too hyped and we
Okay.
didn't know how to pace ourselves. And now it's
Ah.
just kind of like we have to pace ourselves. There's no other mode. There's no hype mode. There's just pace yourself mode.
Oh man. So I think it's back to the gym again before going back to geeks, I guess.
Yeah, and you know what's funny? Actually, during the pandemic, fortunately not all of my band members shared the same fate as me. So a bunch of them, they took part in say like virtual marathons and stuff. So like yeah. So they did really really well. I need to play catch up. Yeah, some of
Kids.
them been moving in a good direction in their lives. Stopping drinking and stuff like that. So
Okay.
they've really taken steps towards a much healthier life. Yeah.
Nice.
So I should really draw inspiration from them, I suppose.
Yeah, hopefully it maintains, because once you get back to the gigs scene, everything changes, man. Everything changes. It's like all this healthy lifestyle is nice, is applicable when you're not performing on stage. Once you get about 4 or 5 gigs going on back to back, it's like just one, just two, and before you know it, hey, we're back to square one.
Oh yeah, tell me about it. And
Oh.
the thing about the age thing, I did a blood test and it showed that my liver readings aren't so ideal. So I've actually got to kind of go on a detox and see how I fare. Hopefully, it's nothing major. I feel a lot better though. I think that kind of shook me up a bit. That was about a month ago. So
I
now
know.
I'm being a bit more responsible now.
I know it's an unpopular opinion, and this is something I don't advise anybody to do. It's like every single time you see a doctor, there's always some problem with you. It's like for some particular reason, any doctor you see, you can be fit as a fiddle. You see there'll be some issue with you, man. But when you don't check, you're just perfectly fine. Everything is going a-okay. So I just got a little phobia visiting doctors for that side. In that case,
It's
man.
like the Murphy's Law for doctors, I suppose.
Yeah, it's like something. Okay, I got to find something wrong with him, man. Okay, let's make this. But anyway, you look fine. You look great, man. You look like $1,000,000. But,
Thank you. You know what's funny? I mean, obviously, it may be quite well known at this point, but there are members of KYOTO Protocol who are above 25 on the BMI. Let's put it nicely that way. And those are the guys who don't have any issue with cholesterol, blood sugar, blood pressure, all good, or even the liver function, all very good.
I know that feeling, man. I know the feeling. I think the fat absorbs all of that, because I have the exact same thing. It's like everybody's like, hey, something must be wrong with you, man. You're overweight, you're obese, and all this kind of stuff. Check. Hey, everything okay? So even the guy who takes my blood test, it's like, you sure? You sure this is the results? I mean,
Wonderful.
I'm not jinxing it.
Wonderful blessing. That's wonderful.
That's why I came up with my own theory, man. The fats are absorbing all the problems.
And
never
you know what? If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So whatever you do in your life must be working for you. And at the end of the day, the blood tests don't lie, man. So
I think this is my secret coffee. Yeah, I think so. I think I don't know.
you might be onto something, man, because I can't drink coffee.
Oh.
I have this might be a TMI issue, but I get really bad IBS when I drink coffee.
Oh,
Yeah.
have you tried different coffees? Or is it?
Yes. And at one point, the atas coffee
Uh-huh.
had less of an effect.
Okay.
But then eventually it was just like, nah, any coffee does it. It was like the Nescafes and stuff that really sent me to the toilet. But now it's like ice Americano also does the trick lah. So
But actually, it's a good thing. As much as people complain about it, it's actually your body is functioning, helping you sort things out. It's rejecting the bad stuff. So that's one way you want to look at it, man.
I guess, yeah. We're taking silver linings.
Yeah. How did you get into this conversation again? We were talking about performing on stage, and now we're moving on to IBS. Okay, moving on. But anyway, you've been doing a lot of stuff. As a matter of fact, KYOTO has been busy. Apart from making music, you've also set up your KYOTO studios, right?
Yes, that's right. It's not a commercial project just of yet. It's more of a limited passion project, if I can put it that way. So we have access to a space. Thank you very much to the person who's provided the space. We put up our gear there, so I guess it has really allowed us to be more creative. And when we do have the time, and as you mentioned, really that's a really rare commodity nowadays. We also do some passion projects where we record artists that we find interesting and maybe don't really have the access to that kind of gear, or at least know-how in terms of the experience that we have. So we eventually, I think it would be nice to explore that a little bit more, where we do these passion projects. Where we spend most of our lives really working in the office in pursuit of something, right? There's got to be something at the end of it. So it would be a nice little retirement project in my mind, where if money wasn't an issue, I would love to do music full time and develop the artistry of it. That would be really fun. Yeah.
But currently, it's more towards the passion side of it, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. Let me put it that way. Money is still an issue.
Yeah.
And and yet we're still pursuing the passion on not just a personal front. So that comes first.
Passion alone doesn't pay the bills.
Yeah. Hopefully, at some point we can also pay it forward, and that's something we've always wanted to do.
Because what's interesting about KYOTO Studio is also the birthplace, or rather the studio that created your TikTok adventure, right? Which I am stunned at the moment. It's like, what made you guys get into TikTok in the first place? It's like, it's I mean, if you say Reels and YouTube videos and stuff like that, okay, I can understand. But TikTok is like, okay, how KYOTO Protocol, hard rocking gigs, screaming and yelling, and then all of a sudden TikTok videos. And I must say, you guys are pretty good in that, though.
Thank you very much. I'd like to point out a very interesting nugget of information. Out of all of the TikToks that we've done, we've experimented with a lot of different kinds of content and stuff like that. Some of the best ones, or one of the best performing ones, was actually a then and now comparison of the music video for Pussycat.
Oh.
So you're talking about 2011 versus us trying to recreate the dance in KYOTO Studios in 11 years later in 2022. So I think it kind of goes to show that we kind of had those elements in our brains since last time, stupid dances, making ourselves look silly, and the juxtaposition with good rock and roll music, I suppose.
I was looking through the TikTok. It's like, I heard the conversation that you were into TikTok. So it's like, sure. Or maybe I just thought you guys are just singing one or two tracks. And then I saw the dance, the choreographies, and whoa, these guys are taking it to the next level, man. But is it easy for you guys? Because TikTok is like getting into a relationship. You got to have the commitment. You just can't do it one day and then you say goodbye. You come back 2 weeks later. You tend to lose the traction or your following and things like that. So how do you keep up with that?
Totally. It's we're finding it to be quite tough. And to be very honest with you, I think we thought that since we're coming back out there, we've had 2 singles, but it was hard to promote it because there weren't a lot of live shows. And then here's the third pandemic era song that was written, right? The best I ever had. And then we thought, okay, I think it's time to have a good hard look at ourselves and what is it that we can't be chauvinistic or snobs about what is it we want to do, what is it we don't want to do. And we hear that TikTok is an incredible way to reach new audiences, or maybe old audiences who are just enjoying a new platform. So that's why we came out with a plan to record a whole bunch of content, and then once it got closer towards the release of the single, that's the phase that we're in now. So all you're seeing was actually pre-planned for about maybe 3 months or 4 months in advance, pretty much.
Oh, okay. Well planned TikTok, not the randoms like, hey, I'm bored, let's do something today. Not that kind of thing, right?
We also have those as well, because we thought that we could get away with doing twice a week and all of that, and then we realized like, oh no, it's better if you do it every day, kind of thing. Like, oh shit, that's crazy. Like you say, like relationship, like you have to call the girlfriend every day, kind of thing.
I know, I tried that. I think about 4 videos and that's it. Because like the song Genesis, I can't sing, I can't dance. The only thing about me is the way I talk. So that's the way I do it for me, man. 4 videos and that's it. I don't know how you guys.
I'm gonna check that out. That's cool, man.
I just can't do it, man. I just can't. Hats off to you guys, especially when it comes to dancing and so on. But it's also, I'm also curious. It's like your day job, like I said earlier. You're all the managerial levels. I mean, professional levels, and then you have this side of your life. Does this affect the other side? It's like, do your clients take you seriously, or they just like have? It's like, wait, I saw this guy on TikTok the other day. I saw this previous video of him jumping, stage diving, and things like that. So, does that actually have an impact in your work life?
Well, fortunately, I don't think there's really been a lot of negative impact at all. In fact, if anything, I like to see the positives of it. So I think. I feel that people find it easier to get familiar with me in a way, because they feel like they know me somehow because of that online presence and stuff.
Okay.
And then it also opens a few doors here and there. You're like, hey, you're the band guy, right? Yes, I am. Then we can get a conversation started from there, that kind of thing.
Good icebreaker.
So yeah, I like to see it for its benefits. And really, the downside to it is that maybe we just don't have as much time as other people do. But hey, you've only got one life, so make the best out of it, right?
Oh, that'd be a good advice actually for most of the upcoming bands out there who's worried that your professional life and your music life would be clashing. It's going to be. This is a good example. You guys said a perfect one out there. And now talking about your latest single, Best that I ever had, it's actually a trilogy from. Let's see, the first one was. Nothing Lasts Forever, Faded Lights, and then this is the final one for the trilogy, Best I Ever Had, which happens to be a song that you wrote for your girlfriend, who's your fiancée currently, a proposal song. And I found it pretty interesting, the sense that the song, after watching the particular video, was it the same rendition when you proposed to your girlfriend? Was it the same? It's like, how did you say yes with this tune, man?
So the song came first. I think that ought to clear things up. And the lyrical content is very straightforward. It's unapologetically straightforward for a KYOTO Protocol song, where it tends to have a lot of metaphors and stuff like that. But yeah, when she heard the song for the first time, she immediately knew that it was about her. Because she was the one who was asking me, hey, literally, she say this to me, okay? Where's my song?
Oh.
I'm like, what? Where's my song? Hey, I can't just anyhow write a song, man. It needs to be organic. It needs, And then imagine, like, there was a good year or so where actually I had the song already. And then she's like, where's my song? I said, no, I don't know, just buat tak tahu.
Save it.
And so I had to save it. I had to save it for an occasion. So I figured, do I do it on a birthday? Do I do it on New Year's, Christmas? Then I figured, probably best way to do it is proposal lah.
Wow.
And although it doesn't actually explicitly mention that in the song, if you listen to the studio cut, it's got that little jazzy play us out bit. Mm-hmm. So that's the bit where I got down on one knee and
okay. Because I was trying to put two and two together. I was watching the video and I was just like cracking my head. If I was the woman, sorry to say this, if I was your girlfriend, I would have dumped you on the spot. If that was the song. I was like, how did this make any sense at all for a proposal? How did this sound romantic to her? That was what's running on my head at that particular time. But thanks for clearing that up, man.
Yeah, so then after that, then we needed to come up with a concept for the music video. And you know us, we don't really like to do sappy or conventional. So we thought, okay, what can be like a really ridiculous idea? And at the same time, uh, something that was cost effective, I suppose.
Important, very important.
So that's why we shot everything on a green screen. We actually wanted it to look very Chekai. We wanted it to look really low budget and like kind of cringy, like so bad it's good kind of feeling.
Yeah.
But the guys from Fracas Works, they just took the shots that they had of us on the green screen, and they transformed it into something that I thought was quite incredible.
It is, man.
They are the same guys who animated the video for Faded Lights, which is very heartwarming and touching. And you know, once again, it's KYOTO Protocol song with a lot of metaphors, quite heartfelt, you know, that kind of thing. I know people who've gone through a breakup and they were listening to the song and it was just like, wow, you know, thank you so much for writing this song. Like, you know, I feel like someone understands what I'm going through, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I read the comments of the YouTube and it's like, wow, you really made an impact in a lot of people's lives in that particular song.
Very, very grateful for that. I, you know, didn't really know what to think of it. I had a personal fear that that song was outdated in a way because I think we were exploring a lot of our 90s leanings and stuff in that track, kind of like Collective Soul, that kind of vibe almost, which now that I say it, I think you can kind of feel that on the track, right? Yeah.
No, but the thing is, with since we had this conversation, is like when it comes to KYOTO Protocol, now I get it that you can expect here unexpected because you never know what's coming up next. It's like, okay, first you think that this is going to be the sound, and then they come up with something different altogether, and then once again you have a different feel of it. So each album or each track that comes out gives a fresh feel altogether, so you're not bonded to one particular sound or one particular style, which is a great thing anyway. It's fresh, you get different audiences, who could appreciate the music at that part.
I'm just glad that I think the core group of fans, or at least you know, who we've been in touch with, we've never once had the comment that, oh, we don't like this new direction that you're going in, or I prefer the old KYOTO Protocol. So we've never actually had that. Maybe behind our backs, but not in front of our faces, at least.
No, but it is good also to have different feel, because as musicians, as in terms of music, you have to evolve. You have to move on with the times. You can't be, if you want to be like Led Zeppelin 70s all the way till today, I doubt Led Zeppelin would have any followers anyway if they kept on making the same music over and over again. So
yeah, and I mean, speaking of Led Zepp, right? Some of the greatest stuff was written in the latter years, right?
Yeah.
How would you have ever had the grandeur of something like Kashmir if they didn't explore like different scales apart from just the blues?
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly.
So it was beautiful. I mean, the very clear Indian influence in terms of the melodies that they were using, right? Oh, it was just wonderful. So you know. As you mentioned, and it's definitely something that I ascribe to. As a music lover, I've always loved growing up together with a band. And unfortunately, sometimes the band grows in a direction that I no longer like. Right? So that's why I hope that the way that we grow, as long as I would think that the core group of fans are still, or at least the majority of them are still digging it, then at least that's really good for us. I mean, there's some examples where, you know, the band started off like really amazing, and then towards the end, I can't really say that I really enjoy that direction anymore. I mean, say Coldplay, for example.
Okay, true.
Or even Incubus. Whereas there's some other bands that kind of age like fine wine, like Queens of the Stone Age. First album, okay, kind of like a bit rough, all those kinds of things. And then the later albums towards the end, the one that they did with Mark Ronson, I personally believe that's probably the top two albums that they've ever done. So I guess as an artist, that's kind of what I'm aiming for. So that we have evolution, but it's heading towards a direction that you feel like, yes, I still want to hear more, and not like, okay, I want to hear more, but there's a deeper part of me that has prepared myself to be disappointed because the band isn't what they used to be, kind of thing.
Yeah, but of course, at times you also have to look at the marketing aspect of it and the commercial value of a band and stuff. You can't just simply stick to, oh, this is how my sound is, this is how it's going to be till the end of time, because you have to look at the mass market. So you want to give in a couple of tracks. But in your case, I don't think so there's much of an issue, actually, because despite having the change in sound, or rather putting on new varieties, you maintain the elements of KYOTO Protocol in all your songs. So I don't think so that would be an issue for your band. I think that's the reason why most bands haven't bitched about it yet. Most people haven't bitched about it yet. So the good thing.
And you know what? I think you kind of hit the nail on the head, and it's something that not a lot of people ask, so I don't necessarily say it because nobody asks, right? But I will say that we always have one eye on the commercialism of it. And we're not saying that we're fully commercial or anything like that. We understand that we've got to strike some kind of good balance between that.
True.
So that we can continue doing the things that we love, continue playing shows and all those kinds of things. And it's partially one of the reasons why I think we naturally drifted away from the sounds of an album. It works great in a live show, right? Where, you want to warm up the crowd. Even Jelita is a great song to start with. Not so much album version because it's a bit more romantic or groovy, but when we play it live, we have that license to make it a little bit more rock. You can definitely feel it in a live setting. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like stuff like that is a great thing where everyone can kind of, I love this song, let's get back into it, and then you end the night with crazy bangers like Pussycat and all that, where we can still have a great party like in the old days, that kind of thing. You know what I mean?
So you had transit between the years. From the initial stage to the present year, which is awesome, and I got to check out your show. Definitely got to check out. That's coming up in Rex, right, on the 9th, if I'm not mistaken.
That's right. It's on the 9th of July, and the show is called Undercurrent. Really, really great setup by our label, actually, Breaking Music. It's not that we own the label, but it's the label that takes care of KYOTO Protocol. So we are the only Breaking Music label act that's on the show. But apart from us, the peach skins are really, really amazing.
Nice.
I only took notice during the recent marketing campaign where they even baited, Dato Sri Najib to accidentally share the campaign and stuff, which is brilliant.
Okay, I remember.
Brilliant.
Okay, I remember this, man. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant marketing and the way that they craft the narrative and all that. I swear, some of them must be like graphic designers because they do that so well. And apart from visuals and marketing, the music is actually really cool. Remember how I said Era Vulgaris, Queens of the Stone Age?
Yeah.
I feel like they kind of encapsulate that really well in their current form. And it's very, very cool. Having, in fact, some elements that we would never dare to do, elements of rap and all in there and stuff. So really, really cool. Really looking forward to playing with them live. And then you got Stalwarts in Midnight Fusic. I think hats off to them. They are kind of the success that we wish we had as a band.
Okay.
So they had major label. They've gone out there. They've tore up a really great niche market for themselves that's also very commercially acceptable. They're young boys and they still have so much more that they can do. So, I think if anything, we're learning from them. And then you've got like real upstarts in Resort, where I think that's really people who are like kind of between 18 and 25 years old. I think that's kind of the vibe that they're in right now.
Nice.
So I think it's got an interesting gamut of alternative music, and I think if not for anything else, alternative music has always been my lifeblood.
It is for almost everybody, man.
Yeah, the funny thing is, I as a kid growing up in Singapore, my source of alternative music was Hits FM that we could get from the Johor transmissions in Singapore.
Really?
And they will play stuff like "Love Me Butch" on prime time in the day.
Yeah, that was the
Nirvana. Yeah, and Nirvana Smells Like Teen Spirit. All those kinds of
Singapore
things.
stations didn't play that?
Hardly lah. Singapore, they were very into the 80s, and even in the 90s, they were still playing 80s stuff. Stuff like, I mean, it's not that it's bad. I love that kind of
Yeah.
music as well. But imagine like Spandau Ballet,
Ah,
Aha, and all
okay.
that kind of stuff. So Singapore music was still either doing that, or if it's 90s contemporary music, it was like boy band stuff or Spice Girls, etc.
Okay. So I learned something new. I thought Singapore was advanced when it came to the music part of it, radios especially back then.
I suppose in the 90s, that was the state that I can tell you I had evidence with my own ears. But what I hear from Singapore, especially in the past 20 years or so since the 2000s, is I think that they've kind of embraced diversity in a great degree, and it's quite amazing to see that you have government programs supporting indie musicians and alternative musicians and allowing them to attend trade shows as far as Canada or South by Southwest in Texas, that kind of thing.
Oh.
So hats off to them. I think Singaporean music has benefited from that. And I would say, like, even the current crop of musicians, you're hearing a lot more exciting stuff happening in the alternative scene.
I
Yeah.
got to check that out, man. I got to definitely check that out. So
I've got a
learning some
few
new-
bands to recommend for sure, and I'm just gonna mention just one shout out, Cactus, really cool. If you liked an album, and Cactus is more an album than an album could have ever been.
Cactus. Okay, I'm going to check that out tonight itself.
Yeah,
I've
shout out to
learned-
Isaac, man. It's
I've learned a
very,
lot of
very
new
cool
stuff today, man. Thanks to you. Because I
No,
always
my-
thought
my
Singapore.
pleasure.
I always thought Singaporeans are more into the hip hop scene. I know they have a huge following for their hip hop scene, but rock, I haven't really got a chance to listen to any of the bands out there. So maybe it's just me, but I've definitely got to check that out more of it.
It's not just you, man. I think that rap is definitely a tour de force in Asia.
Yeah.
It's coming out that way, right? And for good reason. We've got incredible talent. Malaysia, you've had the old heads leading the way, and this vibrant ecosystem where you got a lot of young lads coming out as well. And in Singapore, I think they're just really starting that up in a very big way.
Yeah.
I would say people like Young Raja came all the way here to perform for an event, and he killed it, man.
Yeah, I
We've
saw.
got scores of Malaysians waiting outside of because it's a private event, they couldn't come in, but at least they let them watch the show, and a lot that I can see why people say rap is the new rock and roll.
Yeah. They're more
but
organized, per se. If you come to think of it, when it comes to hip hop, they're a little more organized, a little more systematic, as opposed to the rock scene. The rock scene seems to be a bit more on the free and easy thing, and you have a lot of groups you have to look into. It's like one, you have the extreme underground scene, and then you have the Othai group of it, and then you have some of them in between. So it's a little scattered compared to hip hop. Hip hop is, so far as I know, in Malaysia, you're talking about based on the languages. That's about it. It's like whether the Chinese hip hop's in, the Tamil hip hop's in, or the English and Malay. That's the only difference we have on that part. But they're quite united in that way, if you want to look at it.
Yeah, and I guess it's easier. The format of the genre itself makes it easy to do reality TV shows. You just get two guys to face off each other, 8 mile style.
Yeah,
And then winner stays kind of thing, right? See who goes all the way to the top.
cost effective.
Yeah, it's cost effective.
Two guys
Even
and
when
one
you
DJ.
Exactly. So you just got one DJ, then you can do shows in a mall. You don't have to worry about bouncing sound and stuff like that. But yeah, I say don't write off rock and roll just yet. And it's amazing that even today, people like Fleetwood Mac go viral on TikTok.
Yeah.
So I think kids do appreciate good melodies, and that will never change. And yes, good rhythms are easier to catch on, maybe because some people just aren't into melodies, but you can't have chocolate cake every day.
Yeah,
At some
true.
point, you want strawberry and the different flavors that life has to offer.
Actually, come to think of it, since you mentioned Fleetwood Mac on TikTok, I think these days one of the trend is if your song makes it to TikTok, that means it's going to grow big, it's going to blow big. Just like back in the day, if your CD is available in Petaling Street, you made it.
TikTok's a new Petaling Street, I suppose.
It's like that's how it is. Because back in the day, it's like you're a band. If you see your CD on the pirated market, okay, you made it, man. everybody's like, okay, cool. Next, I just got to wait for an award. That's about it, man. But before I forget, I wanted to ask you this earlier. I had this question popped up to me thanks to your story about writing Best Ever I Had. Wrote it for your girlfriend, and then you proposed. And my wife came up to me and said, "How come you never did anything close to that for me?" It's like, I can't sing, I can't dance, so forget it. Fuck off. I'm not going to do anything like that. So your bandmates, are they facing any similar problems like that? It's like, hey, Fuad wrote a song. What about you? When are you going to write one for me? Have they faced that problem?
That is a good one. That's a very good question. And I'm happy to report that nobody has faced that issue just yet. I think maybe it's because the band members of KYOTO Protocol have this nice ability to tumpang my song lah. So they can just say like, hey, this is for, and obviously I'd like to propagate the song and allow people to use it for their own purposes, right?
Okay.
And that that is the raison d'etre for us as artists to be the soundtrack of our lives, right? So
okay, nice. So it's like buy one free fall.
basically,
Oh man! But I should say that the wives or the spouses or girlfriends should start pressuring the bandmates, man. At least it's motivation for y'all to write more music, back to back.
yeah,
But
absolutely.
But the thing is, this trilogy, it's a bit on the mellow side of where the music, right, is more of, I could say something of like a ballad kind of thingy going on. Upcoming, how are you going to take it? Where is KYOTO Protocol going to be next? What level? Any idea of the kind of sounds that's going to be coming out?
We do have a single in the works, the next single in the works, but I kind of don't want to spoil the surprise just yet.
Okay, all right. Good.
But since in honor of us catching up after a long time, I'll drop a little hint that it's gonna be focused on a social issue.
Oh, good.
Gejala social. So
Good. We need that, man.
Yeah.
We need more of that, actually.
yeah. So really happy to be working on something like that. I think the last time that I did something remotely close to that was a collab that was initiated by Levi's, and I worked with this Japanese rapper Shinji. Oh my god, it was. My brain is failing me right now. I think it was his rapper name Word of Mouth or Word of Art or something like that. Oh, I can't remember. Wait, can I look it up? Am I allowed to
sure.
use a lifeline?
Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Like this is what do you call? Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
Yeah. Well, while you're looking at it, I just got a quick question. How's your Japanese now? I know you're practicing like almost daily. It's like learning Japanese. So how is that coming along?
本当にまだですよ。だから思うように話せないです。
I'll just say yes. Like for all I know, you might have been cursing me, but hey, I'll just accept it.
So I basically said I'm not there yet, and the problem is that I can't speak what I'm thinking.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
we're getting there.
Hopefully I can get that. I can listen if it's very slow.
Okay.
And I know that will annoy native speakers to no end. I mean, imagine I ask you to talk like this.
Yes.
This will be a terrible podcast.
just like you get a Matsali guys like saya boleh cakap sikit. So it's like you get excited. It's like okay, yay, that kind of thing.
There's a couple of TikTokers who are doing something like that. No, not that slow, lah. Not that slow.
Yeah, I could imagine.
Okay,
that.
I found his name. Shinji's alias was Figure of Speech.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and that was kind of like the last time that we that I did something that was remotely close to highlighting social issues and stuff. Yeah.
Oh, cool, man. Cool. So I'm looking forward for that. That is. Any rough time frame or when that thing might be coming out?
Hopefully we can pump it out this year.
Oh, cool.
Hopefully we can pump it out this year.
So there's 6 months left for the year. So six.
Oh
less
boy,
than 6.
we gotta cracking.
I gotta start working on it. But anyway, Fuad, I have to say, I gotta say, thank you so much for accepting my invitation and coming on board my podcast, man. It's been a
My
long...
pleasure, man. Seriously, I'm always happy. The people who are happy to talk to me.
I've been waiting for this for a very long time. I know but the very first time I got your phone number, I said, like, Sid was saying, okay, Fuad is keen and all. I said, hang in there. I know how this works. There's going to be a press run back to back. There's going to be a billion questions thrown at him. And he has to go on and explaining why KYOTO Protocol and all the other stuff over and over again. So I'll just let him go first. Let him enjoy his press run. And then when he's free, I'll have the chat.
If only, everybody had the empathy that you have. My life would be a lot easier. The world would be a better place.
Exactly. That's what I said. Wait, dude, whenever you're free, man, whatever time you want. And my apologies in advance for the delay of starting this whole podcast today, man. Among all days, it just had to be today, man.
Not at all. Part of the whole thing about creating content is, trying to figure out technology, and I was in the same boat trying to figure out IP webcams, so everybody's connected on the same network, and it screws up half of the time. So
exactly, this is the very first time this has happened. It's like, dude, you just had to fuck it up. After all those years, finally you get a chat with him, and this happened. But hey, it worked out fine anyway.
And I will say that that's a very good track record. When I try it, I think I fail like 50% of the time. So, if you had 100 podcasts and this is the one that went wrong, you got 99% track record.
I wouldn't say that actually, but anyway, so far this one was okay, lah. This one's not too bad, like compared to the previous. But anyway, let's once again doing a recap right now. Best I've Ever Had is a brand new single out by KYOTO Protocol. It's part of the trilogy, which was the first one, which was what was it again? Nothing Lasts Forever, Faded Lights, and this is the final one. You have this awesome music video, which I'll share on the webpage. You can check that out. It's also available in all streaming platforms. You compulsory, you have to have it there. And the good news is the music video. Please watch it. Watch it again, and then think twice if you want to dedicate that song to your future fiance. just in case. La. Because if you're going to do that, make sure you don't show her the video. La. And also they got a show coming up 9th of July. That's end of this week at Rex KL, right? 9 p.m.
Absolutely correct.
Okay, so the tickets are still available. I'll try to put the link in for you to check out there to get yourself those tickets. Hopefully, I think I might be dropping by.
Oh, that'd be swell, man. Would be good to catch up over a cold one in real life. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. We just spoke about not having the drinks, and now see, I told you, right? You'll just get there. Eventually, you'll just get there, man.
Hell yeah.
All right. Fuad, once again, thank you very much, man. Sorry for taking too much of your time.
Pleasure was
It's
mine.
been a pleasure after more than, 15 years of chatting again?
Yeah, just about.
Yeah, couldn't recall the first one, so at least now I have a memory of this one. All right. Thanks,
Absolutely.
dude. Yeah, have a nice...
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.